Welcome to At CCLI. I'm Paul Herman, here today with recent Dove Award winner Tauren Wells. Tauren, welcome.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
So good for you to be here.
Yes, sir.
So it's been like what, a few days, since
Yeah.
you won the Dove Awards, including New Artist of the Year. Yeah. Has it sunk in yet?
I guess so. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
I know that the guys in my band keep giving me a hard time about winning 4 Doves, so it's a part of every conversation. But other than that, man, I'm just so honored. I think it's really cool to be recognized by the people that you're collaborating with, making music with, and ultimately aligned with in mission, and trying to take this music to people all over the world. So it's a high honor, and I'm grateful.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to talk to you about those collaborations too. The first one with David Crowder and All My Hope.
Yeah.
What was that one like?
Man, it was awesome. He texted me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of this song.
Yeah.
And so I got on the record and I listened to it, and I was like, "You want me to sing on this song?" For some reason, I didn't hear myself on it, but I was like, "Dude, it's David Crowder. I'm gonna do it." So once we got into it, man, that song felt like home for me. It felt like the right space. And so I was in Houston recording. Ed Cash, who co-wrote it and produced it, was on like Skype basically in the studio. And we tracked that song, and now we get to sing it all over the place, and it's really connected with people.
More recent collaboration is Echo with Elevation. Talk about that one, if you would.
Yeah, man. The folks at Elevation are family to me. I've been following Elevation Church for a long time, and finally got to connect with Wade and Chris, and so it's cool to be able to be a part of that. Led worship there several times, and they just asked me to lead that song for one of the worship experiences. And after that, they were like, "You got to record this with us," which was a dream come true for me, So I love that song.
Seems like there's a real blending of gospel and worship these days. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Yeah, I think it's really cool what we're seeing with, more of your staple gospel artists like Tasha Cobbs Leonard and, different people like that, Travis Green, Todd Delaney. I think that there has always been a move toward that, but I think there's been some intentional moves as well with like the Tasha Matt Redman collaboration. I think if unity is going to happen, it has to start in the church. That the church should be the template and the model for the rest of the culture. And so I've always wondered why there was such a division of sorts, beyond genre. So it's been cool to see artists becoming a bridge, collaborating, and kind of bridging that divide.
Yeah. There's got to be a story behind your song Hills and Valleys. Love for you to share that.
My life story. I feel like it's our life story. It's the human existence when you're trying to navigate this terrain of highs and lows, ups and downs, celebrations, disappointments, success, and struggle. So I was trying to figure out, how do I handle these low moments and how do I handle these high moments? And I saw this quote, and it said, on the mountaintops of life, we must learn to bow low. And in the valleys, we must learn to stand tall. And I thought that's the posture of the believer, because it's really a posture of humility to say, even in my greatest moments, at the pinnacle of my success, it is only God in His graciousness that has allowed me to be in that place. So my only response is really humility. And then when I'm struggling, that struggle is not my own. So I've got to stand tall and look to the hills where my strength is coming from. That is also a posture of humility. So that's what I wanted to kind of wrap up in this song, and I think that's why it's touched so many people's lives, because we all feel that tension of just life is a roller coaster.
I also love your song Known, and I saw the video, and you're singing that song for a pretty apathetic crowd. Talk about the vision behind the video.
Well, first of all, if you've seen the video, it opens up with the hostess not pronouncing my name right, which happens all the time. Tauren Wells, Terrence Williams. So I wanted to kind of play on that a little bit because that's been happening my whole life. So she read my name, Tauren Wells, and I graciously corrected her, which I normally don't do. I just let people roll. Tori, cool, call me Tori. But once we got in, I started playing the song. What I wanted to convey was, even if the room isn't paying attention, doesn't mean I don't have value. So my value is not determined by my reception. It is not determined by people's approval or affirmation of me. It's solely from God. And He has the exclusive copyright on my life and my value. And there's nothing anyone can do to add or take away from that. So that's the heart of the song, and I wanted to convey that in the video as well.
I was going to ask you about some final thoughts for worship leaders and worship teams. Man, that seems like a perfect thought.
Yeah, I would just say, you know, as worship leaders and worship teams, we're on stages a lot. We're on platforms a lot, and it's very easy to get your identity wrapped up in the platforms that you stand on. And I know for us as worship leaders, literally we're standing on platforms, but everyone in every sphere of life uses something to elevate their image. And we don't have to project a certain image. We don't have to project perfection. We actually get to rest in the perfection that Jesus has placed upon us. And that is a place of true rest. And if you can stay in that place, man, there is so much freedom. Because then you're not leading the audience in a worship song and trying to evaluate their response as where you derive your value. You get to just lead in the presence of God and see what He will do in people's lives. And that's the truest place that you can lead from.
Tauren, this has been great.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for watching. Take care.